Okay, so we have Charlee here who's been super, super nice to do a video with me, and she's just finished the coaches, I think it's about 2 weeks ago since she finished up. And she'll just start off, like, say a sentence or two about yourself for people watching, just get an idea.
Yeah, so I'm Charlie. I'm from Galway. I'm now working and living in Limerick for a biopharmaceutical company. I do shift work, and I suppose that kind of helped me lead on to getting in touch with Sarah.
Perfect. That's a perfect intro. And let's start with like kind of where you are before. So before you even thought about coaching, before anything like coming on board, whatever it was, what were you struggling with that you maybe find difficult with at the time that maybe started thinking, well, maybe I need to get some outside help?
Okay, so because I do shift work, I found I was kind of caught up in a cycle of work, eat, sleep, repeat. I was nearly essentially like living to work, essentially. So I found that was having like a massive impact on my mindset. I was kind of constantly in a bad mood. I could do 9 out of 10 things correctly, but it'd be that one thing that I would like focus on. And then I'd end up thinking, geez, I had such a shit day, when in fact it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I stopped exercising. I found I was kind of trying to conserve energy on my days off. So I'd stopped exercising, and I used to be quite active, so that had like quite a major impact then on me. So like I found I was struggling to kind of deal with my stress and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so it was kind of mainly like my mindset and stuff. I was just kind of struggling with all of that.
And say with like the mindset side of things, the obviously stopping training and then like literally, as you said, like sleep, eat, work, repeat. What was kind of the main like impact for you that was like, I actually gonna have to do something about this, can't let this go on another, I don't know, 5-10 years?
Yeah, it had such a major impact on like my self-confidence. I used to dread social occasions. I ended up putting on some weight, and I just found it was just really hard to deal with the stress of everything. I just couldn't, I didn't know where to go from there, let's say.
And see, just with the stress side of things, is that solely just coming from like how you manage work and training and that kind of balance, or was it more so coming from, like you said, you do 9 things out of 10 really, really well, but you like one thing, you're like, well, everything's shit, like everything's just bad?
Yeah, it probably was a bit of both. It would be like from work, and then I suppose I was probably being like overly critical of myself as well on top of that, which wasn't helping things.
Okay, gotcha. And say then the train side of things gone out the window, nutrition side of things gone out the window. What kind of was, I suppose, your initial motivation to say, well, I'm going to actually now contact someone? What was kind of the, I suppose, the final straw for you that was like, yeah, I'm going to just email her now? Because you emailed just out of nowhere because of one video. So it must be something that was like, yeah, I'm going to do it now.
I feel like it was nearly like a series of events. There was kind of like one thing after another. I can't even put my finger on it now. Like it seems like it was so long ago. But I'd kind of been feeling that way for a while. I knew I needed to change, but there were so many different things that I needed to change, and I didn't know how to go about it, where to start. So I think it was then when I saw Katrina's video, and she was like literally ticking off all the boxes of like how I was feeling, that I was like, right, okay, Sarah seems like someone who's going to know how to maybe get me back on track.
So just before I move on, like, was it kind of more so the overwhelming of like, oh shit, I'm going to have to manage stress, I'm working on time, I haven't trained, I haven't done this, I don't know what to do this, where do I start? Was that the
Yeah.
kind of one thing of like, well, I don't know where to start? And that's kind of like, it's like a huge mountain. It's like,
Yeah, I was just completely lost. You know, I was just like, I was paddling and paddling, but I was like, I just wasn't going anywhere, and I just didn't know how to get out. So yeah, I suppose it's kind of more like an overwhelming kind of sense. It's like I just didn't know where to begin.
Gotcha. And then say when you, because then all of a sudden you emailed me out of nowhere, and it was called Katrina's video, and she obviously talked about her work balance, and it was just completely not there at all. So what's changed then? Because obviously you've done the 16 weeks. What's changed for you in that 16 weeks in terms of stress, your mentality and physique side of things, and even like your training as well? Just give us an overview of what's actually changed for you.
Yeah, my mindset, definitely, I'm far more positive. So like, instead of when I do that one thing wrong, I'm like, okay, I acknowledge it, I messed up, I move on, and then I'm like, but I did all of these other things amazingly. So that's definitely something that you helped me do, is like my wins, try and focus on them rather than focusing on that one thing that I did wrong. So I'm definitely more positive. And then I find I'm kind of like trying to see my obstacles more as opportunities, as like a means of learning, as a way of challenging myself, as opposed to being like just getting overwhelmingly stressed and be like, I don't know how to cope with this. So I kind of take a step back, look at my obstacles, be like, okay, I can do this, I can learn something from this, and use it as opposed to just letting it control me. Definitely exercise. I'm back exercising, loving it in the gym. I'm not afraid to stay in like my comfort zone. I definitely go in, I smash it. I'm constantly trying to like best what I did before. So definitely I'm so thrilled with that. Like, 'cause like before I would have been like so overwhelmed going in, being like, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to look like I don't know what I'm doing. But now I'm like, I don't care, just go in, do it. Nutrition then definitely has improved. You helped me kind of like balance my macros, because I think I was definitely going from like eating way too little to then like eating way too much. So kind of like hitting those macros, making sure I'm like eating the right amounts, that's definitely helping with everything. So like overall, I kind of have gained better control of my life. So rather than feeling like lost and drifting, I now can kind of like take control of things. If anything happens, I can adapt, change, evolve, and learn from it. So I say those are probably the main things.
Yeah, 7. And like I know some of your like wins, like your deadlifts have gone absolutely super across your time, because that was one of your initial things. I
Yeah.
remember, 50 kg deadlift, and like you did that easily in the time frame that you had worked with us. But then say like the energy side of things, I'm just curious to find out, like, because obviously you put like literally your entire life into work, and everything else after that was just like there's no time for yourself. There was no training, because it was just like work and then rest for work again, because you need to conserve your energy. So
Yeah.
just out of curiosity, because I don't actually really fully know, but see with your energy levels, like has that changed for you? Like, do you feel like you're up and ready to go on your days off, like to go and train, or like how does that change for you? Because I know how intense your work is, just even like mentally and physically as well.
Yeah. Well, I can't say I like jump out of bed. I kind of like I give myself like a little bit of time in the morning, trying to wake up, eat, and then I get the gym clothes on and get ready to go. So I can't say like I'd be bouncing off the walls with energy, but I definitely have like a better attitude where I'm like, I can do this, rather than thinking like, no, I can't, I have to like conserve every bit of energy. I'm like, no, I know that I can do this. And then I always feel so much better after I've been to the gym. Like that gives me a little bit of extra energy, you know, even a little bit more like adrenaline and stuff. So that definitely does help. And I know that I can do it now, whereas before I was always kind of thinking like, geez, no, I wouldn't be able to.
Absolutely perfect. And just looking back in that time frame, like first of all, getting that control back over your own life and actually making some more time for yourself to be able to train, seeing your training wins and the confidence in the gym. And then also like just how you, like the mindset work you did was absolutely super. Like any of the Audible books, you were onto them, you were implementing them, something. So you worked really well on like the mindset side of things. Looking back, and then even the physique side of things and where you come from there, looking back at all those things in that 16-week period, like how does it feel for you to see that you've gone from being super overwhelmed by a big mountain, swimming, going nowhere, that's a good description, to now you're in control and like you actually have a plan in place to keep going?
I'm just, sorry, what was the actual question, Sarah?
And just how do you feel? Like
How do I feel?
and how you gone from like where you are
Yeah.
to point B now and then continuing on?
I almost can't believe it. Like before I got in touch with you, I was in such a bad way. Like my mindset, everything. I was saying, I was completely overwhelmed. And then to now have done almost like a complete 180, I've definitely come out of that. I'm so much more positive, and I can't get over the change. Like I'm definitely far happier. And now I have a bit more drive, I suppose, to kind of like pursue other goals and kind of set up plans to help me then kind of like progress and move on. Whereas before, like I was saying, I was just lost. I didn't actually know where I was going, what I was doing. I'm a lot more like driven and focused now.
That's actually savage. And then like say with someone, because like you were one of them that's sitting on the fence, say looking at this video and like, oh yeah, I'm Charlee, Jesus. What would you say to that person who is sitting on the fence thinking about it, or thinking it's super overwhelming? I'm not even going to start. It's just too big. I'm not even going to start.
I definitely just reach out, talk to yourself. Like you've so much advice to give. So like even if they were just on the fence, they weren't too sure what to do, you'd be able to say, well, you know, either this would work, this wouldn't work, or you like you'd be able to help them out. So like anyone who is even half considering it, I'd say just go for it. They won't know where they'll be in another 16 weeks time. So what have they got to lose? They can only benefit from it. So I'd highly encourage it.
Perfect. Thanks a million for doing this now. You can wave goodbye.